My name is Qamil, or Qamil So Dope, depending on who you ask. I do the absolute most. I am the CEO of So Dope Entertainment. I am the founder and producer of the Ohio R&B Music Festival and the So Dope Awards. I am the producer and host of the So Dope Show, which is a podcast where I interview independent artists, and the creator of a new songwriter showcase called Heat. I'm also an R&B soul singer and songwriter and people's mama and somebody's wife. So yeah, the most. I was born in Elyria, Ohio, which is up near Cleveland in Lorain County. But I've been in Columbus since I was like 4, really from Columbus, roots there. I went to Marion Franklin High School, that's at Portland, Southside. Okay, when I was a teenager, I was obsessed with bad boy music, pause. That was okay back then, but it was, and Motown. So it was like, the concept of the name was the soulfulness of like a Motown with the like edge of being dope, being hip hop, you know. So I just kind of merged those together. That's where So Dope was born. 2011, 2012, I called my sister like, I think I'm gonna start an entertainment company. And she was like, okay. And at the time I was working in banking. So my background is actually in banking. I worked at Chase for over 10 years in bankruptcy and foreclosure. So I was really a banker girl. But I was at that cubicle like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And somehow, some way, I ended up getting laid off, and it was like everything aligned, and I've been doing this ever since. I took that severance pay and was like, yeah, So Dope it is, So Dope for life. Two things happened at once. I decided that I was going to be a singer for real. And then instead of roaming around looking for opportunities, I decided I'm gonna start throwing my own events and booking artists. I wanted to be the whole table. I wanted to be a one-stop shop for everything, because that would provide opportunities for me to grow regular ones, as well as be able to bring my peers in, get to know people, and get my feet wet putting things together. And it went really well. My first time in the studio was in college. And one of my friends, shout out to Asaf, he is like an attorney now, but he also is out in Orange County with a studio doing his thing. But we were kids, like 19, and he had started making beats. They were awful at first. But in his dorm room, he set up a studio, and we would go in there and just play with music and record. So really at like 19 is when I first started recording, but I was in love with songwriting. Like that is when I've always been a writer since I was like in elementary school. I was writing short stories, plays, reading them to my friends. So songwriting was just a natural progression for me. But I had really bad stage fright, so I didn't want to be a singer yet, because I had like, my knees would knock. I couldn't do it. It took me 8 years to decide to do it. But yeah, I was in the dorm room recording, learning how to write. And I was a really good writer, really, really young. But that's how it began, until later on when I was like, So Dope's a thing. I'm also going to really do this. I mean, I sang in church. My mom was a choir director. My grandmother sang. Everybody sang in my family. My grandfather is a pastor. They had me singing. As soon as they figured out I could hold a note, my first solo, probably like 4 or 5 years old. So I was always singing, but church singing and singing on the R&B stage is a completely different. A lot of soul singers, R&B singers, roots come from church. But to be a performer in that way was very different and very horrifying to me. So it took a friend of mine, tricked me back in 2011. There is a venue downtown Columbus called Suite 143. And he's a comedian. Shout out to D-Bell. And I went with him to watch him do comedy. And next thing I know, the host is like, next coming to the stage is Qamil. And I'm like... He had given him a song, everything. The band was ready, so I was on the spot. And I'm so glad that he did that, because that is what made me decide, yeah, I think I can do it, because they really like this. I'm gonna say, okay, it depends. If you like grown, kind of freaky stuff, then go listen to my EP. It's called Qamil. No filter. I wrote these songs about your boyfriend, which is a story for another day. If you like cleaner, soulful R&B, start with Demo Tape. That's also an EP. So it depends on what vibe you want. Can't go wrong with either one of them. The Ohio R&B Music Festival was a baby of mine in the back of my mind for like 10 years, tabled into a Google Doc. And then one day in end of 2023, I found the Google Doc and was like, Originally, it was just So Dope Awards, all genres, all kinds of stuff. But I had this idea because I'm obsessed with R&B. R&B is life. It's what I do. I'm going to hone it in and make it very specific. And I'm going to do a Ohio R&B Music Festival and So Dope Awards too to end the thing off. So that's what we did at the end of 2024 in October. We held the first ever Ohio R&B Music Awards that is all about celebrating the past, the present, the future of Ohio R&B, which in my opinion is super slept on, and that is why I'm doing what I'm doing so that can end. So it was all R&B artists from across Ohio. On Saturday we had a showcase. It was like 15 artists that performed. Incredible. Everybody was incredible. And then on Sunday, we had the So Dope Awards that celebrated independent artists with categories like best artist, best vocalist, best vocalist is new. Best new artist, best female vocalist, best male artist, categories like that. It's basically like the Grammys, but specifically for Ohio R&B artists. And that was one of the greatest things that I've ever done in my life. Standing on the sidelines, watching people receive awards, being emotional about it, about being recognized, and knowing that I sat there and put that together was amazing. So this year we're doing it again. I really planned to do it one time, but it was in my gut. I know that it needs to continue. So we're doing it again this October. We added a few categories to the nominations for the ballot, and the nominations are open now. They won't be open when you see this. By the time you see this, I'll be getting ready to announce who the nominees are for this year, as well as the lineup. But those are selected by artists submitting over a period, a few months they have. They have a few months to submit, to nominate their favorites. And then there's a selection process, put a ballot together. The planning process, just so people are clear, it was me. It wasn't like when there's festivals, there's usually an army of a team of people, or at least a small group of people. That was not the case. I ended up having help because people offered amazing people like Bree and Jay Dante, Tiffany Marie, Michael helped me. You know, my family was supportive, but sitting at my table in my pajamas was me putting together the graphics, putting together the website, organizing it, and how is this going to flow? How am I going to pick these people? How do I get the word out? Where's the money going to come from? Who's going to take pictures? Everything, the marketing, from when, if you were sitting at the awards and you looked on the projector and you saw, the nominees are, that was me. I did everything myself as an army of a person. So dealing with that, I was responding to people on social media. Why wasn't this person nominated? Which, here's the thing. If you want somebody to be nominated, you should go nominate them. Don't come on the page asking me why somebody was nominated. I can see the emails and I can see that you didn't nominate them at all. Make it make sense. I'm just saying. So that was the kind of things that I deal with behind the scenes, asking questions. Tiffany Marie, shout out to her, brought her in as an artist liaison. Let her answer the questions. So learning to delegate has always been a challenge for me because I am a very organized person and I know what I'm doing and I have a vision. So I just do. I want to send an email, I send an email. Sometimes I have to let somebody else send the email and respond to the email. So just that logistics on putting together a lineup. Who's performing at what time? What's the flow of the show? This person dances? This person doesn't dance? You know, that kind of things that I have to think about. With the So Dope Awards, we did a John Legend tribute. I picked all the songs, decided whose voice went with the songs the best, which order that they were going to sing it in, sent out music, booked the bands, send the music to the bands, scheduled the rehearsal. Sounds crazy, but this is what I was doing in addition to taking care of my fiance and my 3 kids and cleaning my house and trying to take care of myself and, you know, have my own career going at the same time. So that's just a little like really fast rapid fire of what it looks like when I'm planning this and putting it together. This year, a little easier because I have a framework now, so I can kind of plug in, but there's still so much to do. Do it. Try it, see how it goes, tweak it along the way. Be careful who you let in your space, everybody that is like, yeah, I want to, no, they don't. Like some of them really will. If I could tell you how many people who were on my team over the years who are nowhere around me now, it would probably blow your mind. Give yourself time to rest. Rest is so important because you can get burned out really fast and then it'll feel like you're losing your passion. And really you're just tired and you need to go to sleep or go on a vacation. I would say get you a dry erase board, get you a notebook, write down your thoughts, write down some bullet points. Just be as organized as you can. And it's okay to bump some stuff out to next year. You don't have to do everything this year. Pick a few things that you want to do, 2 or 3, and really zero in on those things and do them really, really well. And if you're somebody who can't do 1,000 things, pick one thing and do that thing like nobody else can. See, the grind culture is trash, and I am completely against that because especially if you're a Black woman, we have so much going on mentally just being in this country, but being a woman in the entertainment industry, you've got ageism and sexism and just, and if you have children, then you might be dealing with postpartum. Even if you don't, anxiety, depression, there's just so much that's going on with us that I wish that I had prioritized rest and been more watchful of people that were around me. I think that we really just take care of your mind, exercise, really take care of your mind and your body. Wellness is important. This art stuff is not going anywhere, and it's not going to do you any good if you're not feeling good and you're not healthy mentally and physically. No, man, we'd be tired, and burnout I have quit so many times, at least in my mind, because it was just too much. And not to mention that you deal with so many different spirits, like people and energies and intentions. And even if it's loving, it still can be a lot. Like when people want to be around you because you are cool and you do cool things, it can still be a lot. So yeah, gotta, take a minute, take a pause, take a beat. Yes, you do. Heat was another thing that was in the drafts, and it is a songwriter showcase. So heat, who can bring the heat? Everybody is the best songwriter ever, right? In addition to being a space where people can prove that if they want to, they can also not. They can come try out something that ain't that good yet, or it's not quite there yet, but it's a space for that where they can explain what they're working on. Artists will explain what they're working on or what they have done, tell us about songs that they have written. They'll perform 2 or 3 of their original works, and it's just really a place, something for the songwriters and for the people who appreciate the craft of songwriting. So we will be in a room, I will host, I will share some of my songs there's so many songs, from along the way and talk about them and just have that space. So it's a open closed mic. I'm curating the list so that it's balanced, because it's open to all genres. So I want it to be a good mix of things. So there'll be 8 artists, 2 to 3 songs each. We'll chill out and listen to each other's work, and people who are not artists can come and support the artists in our community that are really out here creating, and in a different way. Like, this is the most authentic, like, pure way to consume what some of us are out here doing. An incredible networking opportunity, and we don't have so many of those anymore. Years ago, one of the first events I did was So Dope Sunday, which was a long running, like for years, open mic that started on campus. And that space was so special. I can't even count how many artists, people would drive here to come to So Dope Sunday. So I've missed doing that, but I don't want to do an open mic like ever again. But I don't think that songwriters have ever really had space. I mean, there probably is things, so I'm not saying that no one has done this, because I'm sure it has been done, but it hasn't been done in a So Dope way, and that's period. And that's cool too if you're like a producer or somebody who's looking for songwriters to collab with, because I don't think there's enough songwriter producer teams either. I don't actually know of any. So that's an opportunity. Maybe something like that could be birthed out of it. We shall see very soon. I'm so excited. My last project was in 2019. It was a project called 8. And it was really, that project was a tribute, really, because my friend who passed away, I found some beats that he had emailed me that I didn't remember. So I did it like a tribute thing. So really an album that is like the quintessential Qamil album. This is the one. This is the first one. I'm grown. I've been through some stuff. I've been heartbroken and traumatized and grieving and all of those things. And I just got married and had another couple babies. So this is that album. And the name of the album is Comfort Food. And the title was inspired by my littlest baby, who I nursed, breastfed. Shout out to Black breastfeeding mamas. And I thought one day, like, wow, I'm literally comfort food for a person. That's deep. Like, that's crazy. He's upset, mommy. He's happy, mommy. He's just chilling, mommy. I've got food coming out of my body. So that is where I came up with the name Comfort Food. And I've broken it down into 3 EPs. So the first one will come out July 25th. That's Comfort Food 1, appetizers. The next one will be entree or dinner. And then the third one will be dessert. And those will come out, those will get pushed out later. So yeah, that was my thought process. And it's very soulful. The first one has 6 songs. I just released the first single, Touch the Sky, came out in May 25th. And it's doing really, really well. It's very dreamy and romantic. And very airy and lovey-dovey, if you're into that. People say, people don't write love songs. Yes, we do. I most certainly do. So go listen to Touch the Sky. Yeah, and get ready for comfort food season. So yes, my actual fundraiser for the album is me cooking. So my whole career, I've been feeding people. Artists used to come to my studio. I was making frying chicken or making smothered chicken and rice and gravy, or I had an R&B showcase called the R&B Showcase, and I used to cook dinner for the show. So the ticket included a home cooked meal. So people associate me with soul food, comfort food. Anyway, so that's how I knew this was a line, because of the thought I had about my son, because I cook for people always and usually try to find a way to incorporate food into what I'm doing. So everything that I'm doing, so writing, like I was writing, my first love from when I was a kid, writing short stories. Eventually, I've written 3 novels. One is a series called Satisfaction and More. Satisfaction is out. I got to put More back out again. So Satisfaction got its re-edit. It's available on Amazon. And it is a novel set in Columbus. So there's it's about 4 young Black professionals, and they all got their own drama, but the drama intertwines, and there's a high-speed chase on Seltzer Road, and there's a a cafe that'll probably remind you of Lincoln Cafe if you've ever been there, which when I wrote it, it's actually kind of like, in hindsight, I was writing about this place that I didn't know existed, but it ended up actually happening in real life. But anyway, Satisfaction. I write an excellent sex scene. Do not give this to your teenagers. It is for you, for the grown-ups. So Satisfaction by Qamil. What satisfies you? See what satisfies these people. And if you're from Columbus, it's super dope because you'll recognize like a lot of the places and things that aren't fictional in the book. www.souldopeentertainment.com for all like events, festival, heat, everything information. If you specifically want to check me out as an artist, you want to go to QamilInc.com. Qamil is Qamil, Inc.